Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome back to Starkey Farmstead. So today we're going to do video number 2 on naturally feeding your rabbits. So if you're raising out meat rabbits like we're doing here at Starkey Farmstead, then you already know how expensive pellets are becoming. So to reduce that cost on our very small farmstead during the spring, the summer, and the fall, we do a lot of natural feeding. So let's talk about something here. A lot of people are going to use hay in the spring, the summer, and the fall. We don't do that here in Southeast Louisiana. And one of the main reasons, guys, is it comes down to mites, ear mites and skin mites. We are too moist and too hot in this part of the world. So what ends up happening is the hay gets moisture to it. The mites are going to be attracted to it. You're going to start getting ear mites and skin mites on your rabbits. It's going to mat down in the bottom of their cage. It's going to rot the bottom of the cage. Once you begin to see rust, that rust is going to be able to start cutting the bottoms of their feet and cause sores on their feet and sore hocks because they're laying in their own urine and poop with that hay matted to the cage. That is a big deal in the summer in Louisiana. That is going to attract things like blowflies and other issues to your rabbits. So our rabbits are raised organic, with no chemical antibiotics or wormers ever. I'm about 100% clean meat here at Starkey Farmstead. So because I'm not going to be feeding hay and I want to reduce the pellets that I'm feeding them, I've got to replace it with something high in fiber. Yesterday, the rabbits got oats. So I'm growing a small garden, very small, guys. Like it's just a very tiny raised bed. It's about 20 foot long, about 4 foot wide, and I just intermingled some oats with other plants that I was planting. And when it gets about this big, I cut it from the bottom where the roots are, and I feed the stem, the long skinny leaves, and the oats that are on top, all of it to the rabbits. So this is what fell out one of the cages. So that's a great source of fiber, but I don't want to feed that every single day because oats are so high in proteins that it can heat their bodies up, and it's getting really hot here in Louisiana. So your safest bet is to always stick with your leafy greens, all right, like collard greens, mustard greens. This is Comfrey. Every single day, my rabbits get Comfrey. Now for a group of babies, say like this, I'm just gonna do one decent sized leaf, and they're so used to it. These guys are like 5.5 weeks old. Their mom passed away. We had to put her down due to an injury. So they've been eating now for about 2 weeks more leafy greens and stuff than I normally feed small rabbits, but they're thriving. So you're gonna go around to each cage, make sure you put one leaf of Comfrey in there. Something else I will be doing, sorry, let me set these up here. Something else I will be doing today is okra. Okra is a great fiber source for your rabbits, okay? And it's also got a lot of moisture in it, believe it or not. Now the seeds should be just fine for your rabbits because they're super soft and they're just gonna squish it. So it's really not like a seed you would get that's gonna be hard, that's gonna get stuck in their throat. But you do wanna thin slice the okra. One slice of okra to every cage. You don't want to overwhelm them, okay? It's a lot of fiber in that. The third thing that they're going to be eating with their Comfrey, their slice of okra, chilled cucumbers, okay? Seed, skin, and all. Now, all of this is freshly picked, organically grown. What I'm basically doing, guys, is something called a nutrient catch cycle. So I use the rabbit manure in my organic market garden to grow my food. As the food comes out, I feed some of that back to my rabbits. Then when they poop, their poop goes back to the garden, essentially catching all the micronutrients that I need to go into my garden. And rather than all my nutrients leaving my garden in the food that I produce, I'm able to catch some of that, put it back into my garden. So over time, the nutritional density of my food is going to go up, the health of my rabbits is going to go up, and my soil health is going to go up simply by feeding back to the rabbits what they helped produce. So we're not just raising our rabbits for meat. We raise them for their poop and their urine as a pest deterrent. Now, anything on the cucumber or the okra that I didn't like the look of it will go back to my chickens, and I compost in my chicken coop. And I also use the compost, you got it, in the market garden. So I hope this helps you guys kind of figure out ways to feed your rabbits. Do not put too much of any one thing in their cage. Don't introduce new foods with other foods. If it's the first time your rabbits have ever eaten okra, let that be all they eat for several days, okay? Something people do, and I think this is where you get in trouble when you're natural feeding, is you forget that that rabbit in the wild will be moving from plant to plant to plant, different species, different types. They would not be eating an entire cup of okra at one time. One thin sliced piece of okra is plenty for all these babies to nibble on. It'll give them enough fiber, give them enough protein and enough moisture, okay? You have to remember that their tummies are tiny, all right? And you don't want to bloat them because rabbits cannot burp, they cannot vomit, but they can bloat just like cattle. So be very super careful, guys. If you're adding in any like grasses or clovers, I know a lot of sites are like, oh yeah, you can feed them clover. Clover produces gas. So yeah, maybe one or two tiny pieces of clover would do it, but you can't overdo it. You could really injure or kill your entire group of rabbits. And I don't want that for you. I am talking from personal experience. A bloated rabbit's death is horrible. It will break your heart and you will never want a natural feed again, okay? So I'm telling you this from a place of love and personal experience. I hope you guys have a blessed day. I hope these quick videos on natural feeding helps you to get brave enough to try it. Something we're gonna be doing here at Starkey Farmstead this year is we're buying a pelleter at the end of summer. We're gonna save our money, buy the pelletizer, and we're gonna take our okra stalks, our corn stalks, and our black oil sunflower stalks, and we're going to pellet for fall and winter ourselves, and we're cutting out the cost to feed by the end of 2023. That is our goal. That is how we're gonna stay a profitable, small farmstead. So if you have not already, please like, comment, and subscribe. Hit the notification bell. So as we're moving through the summer, and I'm gonna be going into deeper, lessons on natural feeding, you can follow along and join these conversations because they need to be had. I'd like to know what successes you have had with natural feeding. I would like to know what you've tried that did not work for whatever reason. And let's all be very honest and supportive of each other. We're not here to badmouth each other or cut each other down. There are no dumb questions, only the one that you did not ask. So please feel free to comment and ask because I want you to be successful. I want you to have the healthiest rabbits on the block because the healthier you feed them, the healthier their meat, their urine, and their poop is. Remember that. You are what you eat. So if they're only eating a dry pellet that is old and the nutrition has pretty much been baked out of it, then the meat is not going to do what you need it to do to heal your body. It's not going to have the flavor. It's not going to be as healthy for you or your customers. Not to mention that here at Starkey Farmstead, we raw feed our dogs rabbit. Okay, and we also sell rabbit to a couple of people who raw feed their dogs. And they like our meat because it's organic and it's so nutrient dense. So when their dogs eat our meat, they're healthier. It's better than store-bought meat and it's less expensive. So you guys have a blessed day. Sorry, I'm putting baby rabbits back into the pen. Mom must have just fed and they came out. Oh, and here's a free tip for you guys. Rabbits normally only feed one time a day. It's usually early morning early evening. So don't panic if you never see the mother feeding her babies. In the wild, they only go back to their nest one time a day so they do not attract predators. That is something that's genetically bred into them, okay? So don't freak out. If she doesn't feed them, they're gonna die. The way you can tell that they actually are eating after birth is their little bellies will be pretty full looking. You have to remember, these are teeny tiny babies and they're not taking but like 1 meal at a time. So that's a quick feed, it's over, so you'll rarely catch her in her nesting box. So you guys have a blessed day. Thank you for watching Starkey Farmstead. Thank you for rowing in our boat and letting us row in yours.